Welcome to the Spider Cellar. I'm Shayla, and I build and design miniature worlds. Today, I'm building the legendary Australian rock band ACDC. Today's build was requested by my best friend as a present for her mom, who loves this band so much we call her Stacy DC. To start, I'm setting the stage with my Proxxon hot wire table, and I'm slicing up pieces of foam that will be the main structure of the build, the literal stage. I decided early on that I wanted to depict the Bon Scott era of ACDC, and I wanted to find a real-life venue to replicate. So, after watching way too many grainy live videos from 1979, I landed on the Pavilion de Paris, which I later learned no longer exists. I will now make the flooring with plasticard. Fwah! I wanted a really crisp look on the walls and drum alcove, so I lined these areas with more of the plasticard to make them stand out a bit more. For the stage flooring, I have no idea what you'd actually call this color, but I just mixed together some green, some gray, and some beige. With the picture I'm referencing, it's pretty hard to tell the actual color of the flooring due to the venue lighting, so this is my closest guess. The walls were much easier to replicate. Nothing fancy, just a standard rock show gray with a hint of navy blue. Now to remove the protective tape. And we're going in with some highlights to help sharpen up the edges and also to cast some actual highlights in places where I want the stage lighting to bounce off of. I wasn't really happy with the flooring. It just didn't look worn in enough, so I'm using some Vallejo pigments to brush over the surface, make it look a little dusty, a little bit rock and roll. I don't know. Also, I noticed the stage had these little reflective marks, so I'm doing my best to replicate that with tin foil. With the basic structure of the stage assembled and painted, it's time for the concert lighting. Using 3mm LEDs from Evan Designs, I set out to assemble 3 different rows of stage lights. This first row will be perched above the little drum alcove area with a total of 6 LEDs that I'm super gluing to a 3D printed truss. I had some tough choices to make regarding the color and style of lighting, but eventually landed on just flashing white. I didn't want them to look too synchronized though, so they each flash at different rates. For the main truss, I really wanted a bold, flashing, attention-grabbing setup, so I'm assembling a row of 15 LEDs that not only flash, but change color. I'll admit that I was a little overwhelmed trying to condense the complexities of professional concert lighting into a 9-volt battery-powered miniature scale model, but all things considered, I did my best. But I'm not stopping here. I need one more stage truss with just a few simple color-changing lights on each side, angled downward toward the stage. I quickly realized I didn't need one long row for this. So I broke it down into 2 short rows instead and glued them in place, being careful not to let the hot glue touch the wires. Now for the soldering. If you can't tell, I'm a total amateur with miniature lighting, but the best way to get better at something is to practice, so be sure to subscribe for more shoddy wiring. With the stage being fully assembled, painted, and operable, it's time to get the band together. After a bit of a search for ready-made 3D files, all I had to do was print the models, sand them down, and start gluing the pieces together Kenner style. Eventually, I would love to learn how to use programs like Blender to design my own 3D files, but for now I'm grateful to the 3D printing community, and I'll always give credit by linking the files below. So far, gluing together the 3D prints was going pretty smoothly. And then I got to the drum set, which printed in 26 individual pieces. So it took a little bit longer to assemble, but I'm just glad it wasn't a Neil Peart style drum set. The painting step is always the most therapeutic for me. There's just something about watching whatever you're painting slowly come to life with each brush stroke. And now, let's bring to life the band members of 1979 era ACDC. Starting with their drummer, Phill Rudd, who entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with the rest of the band in 2003. Next up, we have Angus Young, who is arguably one of the most iconic performers in rock history. He's worn his schoolboy uniform on stage since 1974 and continues to rock it today at age 67. Angus's brother, Malcolm Young, was one of the founding members of ACDC and highly esteemed as the band's leader. He passed away in 2017. And on bass and backing vocals, we have Cliff Williams, who I almost confused with Cliff Burton of Metallica when I started painting, but at least they all have the same hairstyles. And the one and only Bon Scott. Fun fact, apparently before he became the vocalist, Bon Scott used to be AC/DC's driver. He was with the band for 5 years, over 7 albums, and was hugely influential up until his death in 1980. So now that we've gotten to know the band members a bit, let's set up their gear. We know Angus used his signature Gibson SG, and Malcolm was all about Gretsch guitars, but both Angus and Malcolm used Marshall stack amps, which I printed, primed, and am now painting. For the backstage, I made mini cardboard boxes with some extra cables and put in a ladder to resemble a little storage. Now for the area right outside the dressing room, I'm putting in an extra amp, some headphones, a couple backstage passes for a few lucky concert goers, and an extra mic stand just in case. Oh, and this thing. Time to set the stage. Using 26 gauge cracked wire, I attached one end to the butt of each microphone, coiled them around the stands, and routed them down each side of the stage. Then, I set each amp down and put together the drums, and there's Phill Rudd on drums. We got Cliff Williams plugging in on bass, Malcolm Young making sure his Gretsch is in tune, Angus Young practicing some licks, Bon Scott, check 1, 2, and without further ado, ACDC. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you want to see me build next time. Until then, bye!